Hayley and I were at college together, so we've known each other for some time. And also we have Carl Smethurst, one of the RMs from SWA. So do you want to say a little bit more about that, what your role entails?
Brilliant, thank you. So yeah, I'm Carl and I'm Regional Minister for Mission for the South West Baptist Association. And part of that is an interest in all things, including digital mission, which is what we're going to think a little bit about in this session.
Yeah, and I'm Hayley, and I'm just to balance the age difference here.
Shut up.
And it's
every time.
Yeah, I'll stop there. Stick to the script. Sorry.
Stop digging that hole. Okay, on your marks, get set, go.
We have gone from paper to platform, from script to screen, from scribes to selfies. 500 years since the printing press revolutionized how we consumed and read the written word. We are in the biggest change in communication.
I mean, it's not always gone especially smoothly in this transition for the church into the digital world, but we have discovered in recent times that keeping in contact with friends and family during lockdowns by Zoom, gathering virtually for church services and prayer meetings and the like, it's completely possible. It's within our capability.
In 2018, Baptist Together Council recognised the significance of the digital revolution and made it a core priority area, not knowing just how quickly the church would be immersed in it across the whole globe. Who'd have thought our Baptist structures could be that prophetic? The Evangelical Alliance recently conducted a survey which revealed that there's a 19% increase of those attending online services at least once a month. This is compared to 3% pre-COVID. When Council dreamt up the digital revolution in 2018, it was much more far-reaching than simply the ability to attend our church services online. Due to the impact of the digital world on nearly every aspect of life, includes a revolution in how our mission and discipleship of the people of God.
Some are likely to push back against this assertion a little, but those leading the way for us in digital missioners, perceive not threat here, but opportunity if we choose to acknowledge the reality of this revolution in which we now all exist. In making this a core priority area, we want to go way beyond just acknowledging the truth of this. Our desire is to train, to empower and to release God's people to join in with the Missio Dei in this digital space. Several of our associations are already actively involved in that endeavour, with digital missioners tasked to help local churches and pioneers consider how they might share their faith in word and deed in the digital world, and explore how that might enhance our existing activities and inspire new forms of mission.
Some in our Baptist movement are beginning to explore how we might not only reach, but also disciple those new to faith using purely digital means. Our colleges are beginning to offer courses in digital theology to create the very opportunity for theological reflection, exploring the implications of discipleship in a digital world. Now, please don't misunderstand us. We don't want to set up online world in competition with on-site gatherings, but simply want to start the conversation so that engaging people in the digital world is seen as a valid form of ministry and mission, just as much as the other gatherings we have. For many who normally felt left out of church due to disability or accessibility, the chance to be part of a church services and participate in fellowship with the church family has never, ever been experienced to this level before.
Jesus went to many places, met with many people, and challenged the Pharisees about who it is that should hear the good news of the kingdom. Online is precisely the space that we ought to be trying to reach into to share the gospel, being salt and light in a world that is a catalyst for so many contemporary issues. There have been links made with social media and mental ill health, with loneliness and self-esteem. How can we be gospel-sharing, kingdom-building, disciple-making influencers for Jesus if we aren't engaged in the places where the majority of society exists? We're only scratching the surface on this. Much more effort and focused resources required to help engage, not just with the original tools of the internet that permit things like live streaming your service, not just with how the web might offer a place to create and enhance relational community,
but with the latest developments in the digital world, that challenge for us to consider the place and role of God's people in developing the metaverse and the opportunities offered to us by virtual reality church. As a Baptist movement, we have a challenge ahead of us about how we relate to the culture around us and in the digital world. In the coming years, millennials will soon make up the vast majority of the global workforce. By 2030, they will represent 75% of the workforce. Will they represent 75% of our churches? Everything is changing at a fast and rapid rate. And in the midst of this change, we have a generation that are already redefining the world in which they want to live. How do we encourage our churches and missional communities to find ways of creating authentic community online, embracing our Baptist DNA of radical dissent, and enabling a culture where all generations are involved and heard?
For some of us, this might seem like a foreign land, yet most listening to this will have a social media account on one of the major platforms. As Jesus shared the Great Commission instructing us to go and make disciples, we've got to ask ourselves, how far out are we prepared to go? As missionary disciples of Jesus, we have a choice whether or not to share our faith by all means possible, including in the digital world, to acknowledge the digital revolution happening all around us and to learn to sing the songs of the Lord in a foreign land. And so we'd like to invite you to join us in this conversation. What does the digital revolution look like to you and your church? In your context, how does the kingdom of God influence and impact the digital world that you inhabit? Thank you. Come on.
What does the digital revolution look like for you? In your context, how does the kingdom of God influence and impact the digital world you inhabit?